So someone commented on my video and said I lived in California. Someone told me that we stole California from Mexico, and this is true. There's actually multiple U.S. states that used to be a part of Mexico. It was California, Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, Nevada, Utah, parts of Colorado and Wyoming, and even small parts of Kansas and Oklahoma. And when we look at the names of the cities in these states, right, the history is still there. We've got Los Angeles, San Diego, San Antonio, Santa Fe, El Paso. These aren't random names, right? This is a reminder of who was there before the United States took that land. And where American textbooks lie is because they make it seem like the United States and Mexico just sat down, had this calm negotiation, and Mexico just agreed to sell half of its country, and that's just not how it happened. So let's talk about how that happened. So it starts with Texas, okay? And it's originally called Tejas, which is what I'm going to refer to it as because that's what it's supposed to be called. In the 1800s, Mexico had gained its independence from Spain and was trying to grow their economy. So they allowed American settlers to move into Tejas. But the problem was that these settlers were way too comfortable, and they brought enslaved individuals with them, even though slavery was illegal in Mexico. And so Mexico tried to enforce that law. Settlers decided to revolt. They fought a war against Mexico and created their own country, the Republic of Texas. So for those curious, that country only lasted for like a few seconds because obviously like 9 years later, the United States annexes the country of Texas and it becomes part of the United States. Now, let's talk about President James Polk. Okay, he wanted even more land, specifically California. He offered Mexico money for it. They said no. So instead, he tried to intimidate Mexico. He sent U.S. troops into disputed land along the border, knowing that it would cause conflict. Mexican forces attacked, and Polk used that as a justification to start the Mexican-American War. And obviously the United States had the stronger military, so we won. In 1848, Mexico's forced to sign what was called the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. At this point, though, you know, we had already invaded Mexico, occupied Mexico City. Mexico lost the war. Their capital was taken. They were in no position to say no. Like, it would have caused a whole shitstorm. So yes, money was exchanged. There was a sale, but it wasn't a fair voluntary agreement. This was a country being forced to give up its land under military pressure. And it does get worse because the treaty also promised that Mexicans living in those territories would be protected. Their land, their language, and their rights were all supposed to be promised to them. And that's just not how it happened. Land was seized, languages were being erased, cities were being renamed, and over time, these people were literally pushed out of spaces that they had lived in with their families for generations. So it's just crazy to think about because people living on their ancestral land are suddenly foreigners because this invisible line gets drawn through their backyard. And I already know what some people are going to say. Oh, okay, so we didn't steal Mexico. We went to war and we won it. No. Let's say someone comes to your house and they're like, I don't want to buy your whole house. I just want to buy your basement. And you're like, no, I don't want to sell my basement. So they sit on your porch with guns. You try to defend your home. They force their way in, fight you, and take your whole house. Did you give up your house or did they steal it? Because that's essentially what happened. And that's the part that really gets me. This land was taken from Mexicans. And now fast forward to today. When Mexicans cross back into this land, that is their history is already tied to this land. And they're called illegal, they're called criminals, but they're not the ones coming here with guns. They're not the ones coming here to take land. They're coming here to work, to survive, and to build a better life. And while we're sitting here blaming immigrants for crime, let's be real for a second. Most crime in the United States is committed by U.S.-born citizens. The majority of drugs coming into this country, a lot of it is moving through legal ports of entry. A lot of it is being trafficked by American citizens, not by people walking across the border with pounds and pounds of drugs, right? That's just not how it's happening. And when it comes to violence against women, statistically, it's most often committed by someone the victim already knows, not just some random immigrant, you know, sexually assaulting your women. So if we're going to talk about crime, maybe we should start by looking a little closer to home. And when you tell someone to go back to where they came from, remember that some of them did come from here because we're standing on land that used to be Mexico. Period.